What's going on, people of the world? It's your boy, Pat Hilton, the Acoustic Force. I am here with Jonathan Frost, the Progressive Accountant, featured worldwide. I mean, you're just a worldwide star now, Jonathan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All over the world.
Man. All over the place.
You were just in Jamaica with some of the new partners that you're working with. Let's chat about that, because we were talking off air about how when you're running a business, you know, sometimes you try and partner up with some people. It works. It doesn't work. I've had some tough partnerships with me getting out of the bar gig scene into building this digital marketing concept that I've had. And I've run into some hard times, and fortunately ran into people like you that understand bringing those personal relationships to the table and helping pull the business out and growing it, and what numbers have to be and what it looks like, and every single finance. I mean, we have a financial statement now and a budget that we go through every month. I'm getting straight Jonathan Frost accounting, because that's how I have to be now. Right, and if we can't afford it and it doesn't fit into our numbers, we can't have it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So we just went down to this retreat down in Jamaica. We were able to meet with a lot of the business owners and everything. And my partner was down there as well, and Paul Croft. And yeah, I mean, it's been interesting so far with this partnership. And not that when you're partnering with people, like you're talking about partnering up, I mean, that's collaboration as well. It doesn't have to be like you get into like a legal partnership, right? But I mean, the collaboration, that's one of our words, part of our tagline at Croft is value, vibe, collaboration. And so that collaboration, that vibe you get with certain people is so critically important. And what's been interesting about the partnership so far with what we're doing with Croft is, like, we've both been in bad partnerships before. We've gotten burned by people. We've gotten our trust, broken by those people as well. And so what's been interesting is we both come into this partnership with kind of eyes wide open. We both know exactly what we don't want. We know a little bit more about exactly what we do want. And it's a lot easier going into a partnership that way. One thing that I would say when you are partnering with somebody is to not find somebody that's a lot like you, but to find somebody that's not like you.
Yeah, he's way more Chris Farley like me than you are.
Oh, dude, he's way more fun than I am.
He's hilarious.
But yeah, and you've got to find those people that, and when I say not like me, he's got very similar values.
Well, and the other thing is, it's not that you're not fun either. It's just, he's just a little bit more, woo!
Yeah, I mean, how else do you describe it? But yeah, it's very similar values, but we also have similar strengths, but they're not the same. But we want to take our business to a whole nother world, a whole other level than what we could have done separately. Like, we could have been fine separately, but it's just so much more powerful together. And so when I say too, finding somebody that's got different strengths than you, I mean, he had some missing pieces in my business that I didn't have, and I had missing pieces that he didn't have. And so that's what's made it really, really strong so far, because we both depend on each other for those things,
Yeah,
so
totally.
When you're looking for that partner, when you're looking for somebody to collaborate with, like, are they really bringing you something that you don't have? Like, that's real value, right? Like, if we talk about bringing value all the time,
I mean, it is. And I mean,
it is.
It is. And, we can call it value, or we can call it skills. We can call it focus. When one person focuses on one thing for a long time, they get very good at that. Like, I've focused on writing tunes for a long time. How am I going to use that skill to make advertisements and, commercials and all these different things that can bring, more revenue to businesses? That's what we talk about when we talk about providing value. What skills does Pat have that Jonathan needs? What skills does Jonathan have that Pat needs? How can we, like you said, collaborate? How can we bounce this off of each other and help each other win?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a lot about like what we're even doing with this podcast. What if you want to call it a podcast or whatever you want to call it? Like, I mean, that's what, you add a lot more kind of flair to it, and like kind of get down into more of the real authentic things that are going on and kind of pull that out for me as well. And I think that's what Paul does for me too. He adds a lot of flair to the accounting world.
Yeah, he's got a great energy, and we'll definitely get him on here for a chat at some
Oh yeah.
point for sure, because
Yeah.
I'd love to kind of bounce off of him and see kind of maybe what he's dealt with in the past, because there's always these things that we've dealt with that were learning lessons and that were pivot points that pushed us in whatever direction that we're going now. And
Right.
that's where you and I and a lot of the people that we're surrounding ourselves are kind of becoming a little personal development family and like a success team, because we all want to be successful, man. And it's
Right.
like, we don't want to see we don't want to see a man down. When there's a man down, throw him on your shoulder and let's pick up the slack and let's get it done. And I think that
Yeah.
there is a friendship element to business too, because you always want your friends to succeed and you want them to grow. And I mean, for me, I called you a couple months ago and was like, man, I just lost, my main, partnership in Dallas, and that's okay. We move forward, but it's like, man, I need something. And you were like, well, let's hop on a call every other week. Let's cut out some clips. Let's put it up online and let's get something going together. And that's something you can do for my business, and maybe edit some of the morning meetings. And it's like, that's so huge for me right now, because
Yeah.
it's just that helps me pivot, and it helps me kind of stay in my lane. And I can't tell you how many people I've been like, oh, Jonathan Frost and I are doing a little show, and they're excited about potentially working with me now, because the people I've grown and associated with are good people to partner with. The people that I've grown and I'm associating with are, online and putting themselves out there and growing their businesses. And these are who we want to surround ourselves with.
Yep. Yeah.
And so it goes a long way. I don't know who came up with the quote, but like, one person, one opportunity, one conversation could totally change everything. And I
Yeah.
totally believe that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's what, people talk about. Well, you need to go to these events and you need to go meet people and change your network and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it really is kind of true. And
It's
the thing
very
to
true.
be looking at is like those certain people. And I'm not just patting myself on the back. I'm saying like anybody like me being connected with you gets me connected with a whole nother network. And if I'm really authentic, if I'm very vulnerable, if I'm really real with you, if I'm like, I feel like, Pat, I could sit there and I could tell you like, man, I just don't want to do this anymore. And you would accept that because that it's like, I really just don't want to do it anymore. It wouldn't be just because I didn't want to pay or something like that. Like it's a real relationship. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
No, I
Like,
totally agree.
and you would like actually, we call this show Off the Hook, right? So let's get off the hook for just a second. Like, I can't stand the people that are this tit for tat type of relationship. It's very frustrating. Like, I'm only going to join your group if you're going to join my group, and I'm going to scratch your back if you're scratching my back. I'd rather you tell me like, hey man, I just don't want to use you for taxes. And I'd be like, okay, no problem. But
Yeah,
who
right.
else can you connect me with, Pat? Like, can you help me talk to Carlos Reyes about helping him with his taxes? Or can you help me get that kind of connection? Like, these are the real type relationships. I think like this whole idea of like growing your network or whatever, like you got to be real with people. You got to really tell them what you think. You can't just try to join a network just for the sake of joining it for your own good. Like, I
Right.
really feel like I can help you, I
Right.
feel like I can help the people that I'm making connections with. And dude, I don't have the time to waste on people that I don't believe in, you know?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely. And for me, it was like being like the music guy at conferences starting off. Like, there was nobody else really doing it. It was just me and my guitar. There were times where I brought a speaker with me. When I met like Tom Bilyeu, I had a
Yeah.
little speaker that I brought with me and set it up on the stand on the stage and like plugged in all my stuff. And he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm about to rock your socks off.
Right.
You're gonna need to update the cinnamon swirl from Quest Nutrition with a song for me because I'm gonna
Yeah.
rock you so hard." And
And
he's like,
and that's awesome. And I get that. And that's incredible. But you know, when you and I were talking and I was like, dude, like you need to put the guitar down and like actually tell people your story.
right,
Like, and
right,
being like opening up to that and people really understanding, man, there's more to Pat Hilton than just being funny and out there. There's more to JD Frost than just being the rainmaker and the accountant. Like, I'm going to really make some shit happen for you. Like, if
right,
you've got something that you believe in, like, we're really going to do it. And I'm going to back that up with some kind of action. Not
right,
that it's going to be like that I'm going to instantly put $1 million into your pocket. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to be the place where you can come and share your idea and it be in my head. And man, I'm telling you, with the number of people that I'm going around, that I'm networking with, there's going to be somebody that says, I had just had a guy just 3 days ago while I was in Jamaica. He said, "Hey, do you know anybody trying to sell their e-commerce, SaaS, or technology business? I want to buy one." Like, he just threw it out there. I mean,
right.
am I going to find somebody? I don't know, but we're meeting as a company. We are meeting about 15 to 20 people a day, like in their taxes, in their finances, understanding their business, what they need, what they want, who they're looking for. I mean, that's the network. Like that's why I tell people I'm a connector of like-minded people,
Yeah.
you know, like not just a CPA, not just an accountant. I'm not the one doing your taxes. I was sitting here putting together with Julie and Nick and Kim, our tax manager. We were putting together our processing system. Like, we're putting together systems for people to where they can depend on and know that they're going to be protected. I'm not sitting here doing a tax return, you know?
Right, right. And I think that that's important too, is that you said you're a connector. It's like, I can't tell you how many times I've helped this person meet this person, and then those people shared the stage together, and then those people brought me along with them, or like this or that or whatever else happened, or I sang at a guy's event and then met this person, and then we did a commercial together or whatever. Entrepreneur, it means connector. You're connecting me to people that could potentially use me as a media person. And I mean, every single person has got to know their numbers. Like, I went for too long just floundering around playing my guitar. And like we've talked about, I mean, my dad's an accountant, and I just didn't want to listen. It'll show up, man. If I just follow my passions and my dreams and work hard enough, it'll show up. And while that was true for a while, I have to get real strategic moving forward about the goals that I have, the numbers that I want to hit, how many people I want to serve, who I want to serve, what kind of rooms and environments I'm shifting into. And man, that takes a lot more of a calibrated, sniper position approach than just, I want to be friends with everybody. I want to make everybody feel good.
And that's right. Like, you can't, like, you got to be sitting there going like, and then not you, we're talking about anybody, me.
This is anybody.
I can't just sit here and be like, I'm just going to put together this list of names and hope that somebody, responds. And like, there's a strategy behind everything. Why do you think I'm on Instagram asking you, have you paid your taxes yet this year? Like, what do you think I'm doing? I'm trying to start a conversation with you. Like, I mean, I'm not even going to lie about it. Like, and most people are like, damn, I don't want to answer your polls anymore, because every time I do, you start to ask me questions. Well, yeah, I want to have a relationship. It's not that I'm even trying to sell you anything. I had a guy the other day. He was like, hey, I need an entity formed. It's got to be formed by tomorrow. I'm closing on a new building, commercial building, and I need to form an entity. Can you do it for me? I'm like, sure, I can do it for $2,500. And he's like, Okay, let's do it. I said, what do you want the name to be? Blah, 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 blah. All right. I outsourced that to an attorney because I always get an attorney to form my entities. Like that's what I do.
Yeah, you
I
want to
don't, I
follow
don't,
the law, right?
I don't ever do that on my own or whatever. Well, anyways, like this guy, the later that night's like, hey, cancel, cancel, cancel. I don't want you to do that. I found out that I could do it for $300 and I don't even have to use an attorney. And I can't believe that you gave me that advice. And I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here
Oh my
down in
gosh.
Jamaica trying to help you. I can get this done. It's going to be done right. There's not going to be any question at the closing table whether or not you form the entity correctly or not. People don't understand when you go to a closing table and the entity isn't formed right, they're not going to close. Like it's just not going to happen. And maybe he did form it correctly, but like I've got to get compensated for the time. I've got to have this put together. And when you're calling me at the 11th hour to get that done, what am I going to do? I'm going to take care of it. You know,
Right.
I'm not going to sit there and explain the fact that, you know, yeah, you could do it by yourself. I'm never going to recommend somebody does it by themselves ever. Like, can you imagine me starting this podcast by myself without Meg or Jay? Like, there's no way I could do it. I need you to be here. You know what I mean?
Right. There's a couple other factors. You might just see us on screen, but I'm doing editing, then I'm sending it to Jay for upload. We're breaking down clips. I want to upload those into the file system. It's not just like Jonathan and I magically talk on here and it like we snap our fingers and it magically appears on. You know,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get this on podcast distribution, which involves Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Republic Cast, all the podcast sites. I mean, there's always extra work. And this is what we were talking about off air too, is that sometimes people see, I just posted a clip in Tampa. I was in Tampa, Florida this past weekend. And like you said, and it was your advice and it was a couple other people's advice, Rocky Garza as well, who was on your retreat coaching your guys to really start talking about how I got into the entrepreneur scene with the guitar and the work that it took to really break the doors down with that. And I'm still doing the guitar, but that's what people really are.
That's what they want to know.
That's what they're connecting with on stage. I don't even have to ask for people to clap anymore or do the 1, 2, 3 scream hip hop chants or any of that, because the people clap because they can see the results on the slides. I even used a slideshow this weekend. You'd be so proud.
That is so awesome.
Flipping through, and it's 2014. I'm here. I'm making $40 at the farmer's market, and then 2018, I'm in front of 10,000 people. It was a mindset shift. It was who am I trying to get around? It was how professional is my potential, not what have I been telling myself or what have I been surrounding myself with. If you go for the $300 easy way out in one area of life, well, then you're going to go for the $300 easy way out in every area of life.
Every time.
So that's actually a really good example that you brought up.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't even know that you've done the wrong thing until you're at the closing table and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't set up correctly. And the only reason that I'm recommending that, I'm never selling somebody anything. Like that's what, like I hear people that are like, oh, you're just selling me. You're upselling me. I don't need this.
Right. You're the one that needs it.
I don't need your money. Like I just want to help you. Now I got to get compensated for that because I got to compensate all the people that are helping doing the work. But like, you know, and it's kind of like, I've kind of flirted around that a little bit, you know, not really been that direct before, but this is off the hook. So I'm going to be completely,
you should be direct.
It's like, it's crazy to me when people ask for help and then they're like, oh, well, you need to do it this way because it's a better way. Well, if you're asking for my help, which way do you think I'm going to do it? I'm going to do it the way we have it set up that's proven, that's not going to get you audited by the IRS, that's going to give you the most deductions that you possibly can. Like, I don't need you to question me. You're coming to me, asking me for the help. What do you want me to do?
That's like me asking Ed Sheeran to write a song with me because I know he's way bigger at this than I am, and then trying to correct every single little line that he writes.
right. It's
It
like,
wouldn't really make much sense.
yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, it's like me telling you how to do all the shit that you do after we get done with this. Like,
Right.
are you kidding me? Like, I'm moving on. I'm moving up.
Right. I'm moving up. And it's
Like, it's crazy. It's just in business. Like, it's just crazy to me how much and this is all in the effort of saving money, right? Like, I get it. Man, I don't have a ton of money. We're deploying a lot of money into this partnership. We are growing every single day, going into new markets, we're getting new space, new office space. We're bringing on new salespeople. We actually have a sales team now. We're committing resources to training the sales team in each city right now. Every month, we're having a sales blitz in each city. Like, we're pouring money into it. I understand what it's like to try to save money, but saving the money won't get you anywhere.
right.
It's great once you start to produce the money, once you start to have the income come in, the cash flow come in, to when then you can peel off part of it to save it each month, to then reinvest in the future. You're saving to invest. That's great. But to try to sidestep for what, $2,200 when just using that specific example,
Right.
when you go to the closing table, I'm telling you, I will bet $100 that before that guy closes on that building, he calls me one more time about something to make sure that it was done correctly. No question.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And this is what we talked about too off the air was, I mean, people see, you're in Jamaica or you're on stage in Tampa or you're doing this show with this person or you're doing that. And it's like, I think people think it's easy, or people think that we're rolling in dough and diving into the money pit, like on DuckTales, like
yeah,
Scrooge
DuckTales.
McDuck, and
Yeah.
spitting coins up in the air. And it's just that it's not like that. There's overhead costs. There's costs that pump into client relations. There's this and that and the other thing. Like, I paid what was it, $50 or something, so that we could have that little intro with the hoodie guy that says "Off the Hook." I wanted to invest that back into having a cool little graphic for our show, because I know we're going to cut out clips and stuff, and I want something cool at the end that sends people back to the YouTube channel. It's like, it's not all fun and games and diving through gold coins. I mean, this is real stuff. There's a cost for everything. You send out JD Frost socks. I wear those socks at like every conference I play at. It costs you money to send out coffee cups and sunglasses and socks to all these people that you've sent them out to.
Right.
That's an expense. That's an expense.
It's an expense, and it's an expense, but I look at it as an investment in the relationship, right? It's a small investment in each relationship, but if you do it 100 times every single month, it's a pretty big investment. But it's worth it. I mean, the money is not worth anything unless it's exchanging hands, right? Like, it's got to be exchanging hands. That's what gives it value. And so the key to remember, though, is to be able to, at the very end of the month, and this is what, I'm even learning myself at the end of the month, what kind of equity did I build that month? What investments did I make? And what amount of money did I put back in my pocket? I was able to just put $35,000 into my bank account. Okay. Like, that's a pretty big deal to me.
That's
now
phenomenal.
I'm going to have to reinvest that again. Like, I'm talking, that's what went in my personal account, That's not like any of the business expenses and all that other kind of stuff. That's way bigger. Like, we're reinvesting probably $400,000, $500,000 every single month into the business. Like, that's the money that's going through here. And so that's changing all the time, but hopefully that's growing all the time too, because that next investment is going to get me connected to that next person that's going to take me to the next place in my business.
And that's so important.
Yeah. And so it's, the idea is to have it structured where you do have something left over, at the end of the month, that is going to be able to launch you for the next 30 days personally. I think that's one thing that most business owners, they keep, and God bless GC for 10X and everything. but he's talking about investing every single dime. I get it, but you also got to have some investment in yourself that lasts you for the next 30 days.
Yeah,
Right?
he's super hardcore about the whole cash is trash thing. And I hope that I get to a level where one day I can say that on video. But right now, dude, cash is king for me, G. You know,
Yeah.
I'm still building. I'm
Yeah,
still
you
in a
are.
building phase.
And it's still cash flow, right? Like you're generating cash. You're
Mm-hmm.
generating that with every new account. That's what I talk to Tony Oliver about all the time. And a lot of our business owners, even, you know, our salespeople too, that we're training them on how to build their own businesses, basically, because that's what they're doing with us.
Right.
Um, but it's just so it it's difficult, right, to continue to let that go. I mean, I just looked at my credit card bills, $131,000 that's due on March 1st. You know,
Mm.
like, and I'm investing in going to GrowthCon. I'm going to go to that mastermind. But I mean, who's going to be there? Who's going to be in that room? I don't know. Is
Yeah.
that $100,000 connection? All I know for sure is every time I've spent money, invested money in conferences, in going to meet other people, I have got a return for it. I've
Yeah.
received some kind of return
Yeah, I
every
call it
time.
human equity. Like and I've also come up with this new term called digital real estate, because when you put yourself out there like you have and you grow your accounts and you grow these relationships with people on these communication devices and on YouTube and on Facebook, and we take these clips, maybe somebody sees it, they're affected by the message and they're like, oh man, these guys are cool. That we are building, land or real estate within these relationships. There's
Yeah,
equity there.
yeah,
And the
yeah,
further that you can saturate the digital space with your message and be positive and give people the right information and focus on your skills and bring something to the table, dude, the more you're going to be successful. And like you said, I was willing to do anything just to get in those rooms. And it went as far as me getting on stage at the 10X event. I remember Cody Askins was at your event and was like, it didn't really click in my head until this morning that you were the guy on the lunch breaks jumping around with the guitar, right? I'm like, yes, dude, that was me.
that's
Because I
crazy.
was willing to do anything just to
Right.
get in that room.
Yeah. And now I see you getting really strategic about what you're doing. Like, what generates income for you now,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
you discovered it and now you just need to do more of that. Like,
Yep.
that's really all there is to it. Get around the right people that have already decided to do business with you, like myself, and then find more people that are just like that. And that's what you need to stick to, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. As long as you
Absolutely.
do that, and I think for any entrepreneur watching this too, you find what works and keep doing that. We've got a strategy right now called the jump method that we're using. Man, it is freaking fantastic. Getting people money back in their pocket, using the IRS, using the code in order to effectively create capital in their business. Holy crap. Like, it's intoxicating,
So what is the
It,
jump method? Does it stand for something? JUMP?
it stands for something if
Yeah, I
I'm
knew it
talking
did. So
about
what
it.
does it stand for?
The
What does it
jump
stand
method
for?
is justify actual business expenses, utilize the tax code effectively, maximize deductions, and protect you from the IRS audit.
Mm.
That's what jump means. And it also talks about starting your own business. So what we're doing is we're helping entrepreneurs start businesses, like literally set up the entity like we were talking about,
Yep.
and use that entity because they really had started that business in the past and they didn't realize it. And so they had deductions that they never took in order to offset the income that they had in those years, and were able to generate this capital that then is used to invest in their business and grow their business even further from there.
Wow.
So that's what we're helping people that make 6 figures, 1099s, W-2 employees, those that are thinking about creating a side hustle, that are thinking about starting their own business. We help you jump. We've got the system that will enable you to do that, and we'll utilize the tax code in order to help your business start.
That's beautiful. And
Yeah.
even it is a little bit of a sales pitch, but it is true. I mean, you guys even do returns for like $99, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. And I'm not even trying to do a sales pitch. That's one thing I was going to ask you about while we're on here, speaking of off the hook. Like, one thing that I kind of struggle with sometimes is really being able to show people like the real value in working with us, the real
Right.
take home, like what is the benefit? Because people don't understand. I mean, this preconceived notion of what an accountant is, right? And a CPA, like
Right.
this guy's boring. He's not gonna like this guy does taxes. That's it. Bullshit. Like that's not. That's like that is the understood thing. Like we're really gonna help you grow your business. We're gonna help you get
Right.
connected with people that are gonna grow your business. But how to really communicate that? The only way I know how to is just be on more stuff like this to show people that, I'm a real person. We've got real people working here. I've got 30 people. With Croft, we've got 65 people. Like this is, you know, we can connect you with so many people that's going
Right.
to provide you with a quality relationship that's going to help your business grow
And that's
or
the thing is the
help you
business
solve a
growth.
problem.
Business growth, solving problems. Dude, people are the connection between all those things. And again, I don't know what famous guru said it, but you know, people buy from people. And I think that that's so true. If you watched the Super Bowl just a few weeks ago, there was so much personal branding on everything from the pregame show to the halftime show to the end of the thing. Pitbull was all over the front of the thing, telling his story about how he grew up broke and made it all the way. And I know how hard it is to even get a record deal, much less sustain the success that it takes to become a multi-platinum selling artist. That guy's really done an incredible job with his brand. I mean, he
Right.
just has. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to like his music to understand how hard it is in that competitive of a setting to be successful, and he's
Right.
done it.
Well,
And
and
then you got The
from
Rock too. The Rock was kind of like the MC. He announced all the players and the video and all that. And then from the halftime show, all of that was personal branding. They were doing business with people. It's not just Pepsi anymore. It's not
right.
just Coca-Cola. It's like personal branding, personal relationships. There's people who in that whatever scene of Miami wanted Pitbull to represent that part of the music show.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and like what you were saying before about the digital real estate. I mean, I think, no matter what you're putting out there, just having the patience. That's one thing that I've had to like realize is, accounting, CPA, like that's never going to be very sexy. It's not. But the idea of being in front of people all the time, the attention, getting to know, like if you watch my story, like you're going to know who we are as a family, right? Like you're really
Right.
going to be able to understand how we operate, how Molly is, and she doesn't listen to me. And like, that's just part of who I am, right? Like,
It's
I
fun.
mean,
Your kids are fun. Your kids are
yeah,
fun.
I mean, but I see that as like over time, and I mean over a long period of time. I see so many people wanting to get on Instagram, Facebook. They're like, man, I see it really working for you, JD. This is awesome. I'm like, yeah, I've been doing it every day for 2 years, and
Right.
it's still not working as much as I want it to. But I see it start to just adjust just a little bit more every single day, each month, each year, and that's going to continue to take time. And that's something that most entrepreneurs, I just don't think they realize how much time that digital real estate really takes to develop.
Yeah, because I was typing some stuff into Google to like figure out how I need to get my new website to show up and certain things to show up. And there's a thing on Google called a knowledge panel that documents like the knowledge about like you and as a songwriter, it connects to your Spotify or iTunes or whatever. For you, it would probably be like, here's this article on this magazine or you know what I mean? Like it's different for everybody, but the knowledge panel, man, my knowledge panel needs some work. And I've been posting
Ah,
stuff online for 15 years.
yeah,
So there's always tweaks that need to be made with how, if you're looking for me, how easy can you find me, and how am I communicating to you once you find me? What are you
right,
going to find? And
right.
you want to make sure that you refine that, because that's what people are going to see.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that what they're seeing is what we want them to see. And that's why I've shape shifted a little bit into being more of a, of a host. This is exactly what we did for Carrie Underwood on American Idol, this same format of streaming a show. It's just, instead of singing into the microphone, we're talking about business. We're giving
Right.
people knowledge. I think that the self-help education space, and I think this because we've kind of started studying this personal development space, because we're both kind of in it, especially with our friends being a lot of top-notch speakers. It's going to balloon up and just explode over the next 5 to 10 years. And I want to be a part of it because I know how to produce that style of content.
Right. Yeah.
So it's my duty to myself and to my followers to not just use my music as a tool, but use my story as a tool to communicate to people that, listen, you can do anything. You can achieve the biggest business conference stage in the world if you're willing to weasel your way in, and like we talk about, add value, give people something that they can use online to help their business. That's the only
Yeah.
reason why it worked with me and Grant. I stopped, didn't think about myself, and said, what can I do for this dude that's going to blow up on his page? And that's
Yeah.
when it started working for me. What can I make for Gary with all my tools to get on the Gary Vaynerchuk Twitter, to get on the Gary V Instagram? And that's like, boom, there I was. And people are like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And then here's where something that you just said kicks in. People were like, oh, you're going to blow up, dude. Well, that was 4 years ago. I was on Gary's page. And I mean, he still shares my stuff the more I make for him.
But it's
But
4 years ago.
it was 4
Like,
years ago. It's like,
we
what
want
am
to
I going
blow
to
up
do?
in
Yeah,
10 days, you
I
know?
know. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's never like that. Like you said, it takes years and years and years and years of work to find the right people. Like we talked about, sometimes you think these people over here are the right people. It doesn't work out. It fizzles away. Sometimes you lose your ass, and you just keep on pushing and refining yourself and getting better and better. And dude, pushing and not giving up, that doesn't get, enough recognition these days, because there's so many success stories online that people don't understand if those people put 20 years of work in.
Yep.
Like
Yeah. I mean, that's the way
Kevin
it is.
Hart's going to be speaking at the next 10X. Like I've watched him say on Steve Harvey that he got turned down for 15 years.
Yeah.
He
That's
got
crazy.
turned down and turned
we can't-
down and turned down and turned down and turned down. No, 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 no. This doesn't work. That doesn't work. That's not going to make it. You're not funny. You're too short to be a Hollywood star. You're this. And dude, he's like the biggest thing right now.
Yeah. We can't even fathom what that's like to even see him being turned down, because he's told yes so much now. Right. Like,
Right.
I mean, and it's very true, and everybody talks about it. And the only thing that I can, and you'll laugh at this, but the only thing that I can relate to that is, and be able to practice that success every day, is writing down the goals. I'll bring it back to that, and I talk about it all the time, but like, that's the way that I prove to myself that I'm successful every day, no matter what happens, is because I can write down those goals.
Right.
And it's such a simple concept, but and you hear a lot of people talking about it, but I don't see a lot of people doing it. And that's why, because when he was told no over and over and over again, he was doing something. There was something that kept him going. Now, I don't know if Kevin Hart was writing down his goals or not, but I know that Jonathan Frost is writing down his goals every day, no matter what happens. And that is what helps me practice that success. That it works. Like, it freaking works.
And we hear that all over the board. And I have I actually have a little app. It's called the Gratitude Journal. It's a free app, by the way. If anybody wants to download it, you don't have to pay for it. like get affiliate money or anything, but the gratitude journal. And I
What do you mean you
use,
don't get paid for it?
yeah, I know. But it's for like writing down, I guess, positive thoughts and like recording yourself in the morning or whatever. But that's what I use to write down. Here's what I want to do today. And
Yep.
I can like scroll back and like go back to dates and stuff like that. And since NugaCon, I have started to kind of document each morning and each night, you know, here's my goals. Here's what I need to do today to get better. And then here's what I accomplished. And then here's kind of the goals again. So it's kind of like, here's the goals. Here's what I want to do today to try and get there. And then here's what I did. And then here's what they are again. So it's like I use it in like a 4-part thing throughout the day, but it has helped me kind of gain clarity on where I'm going, who I'm talking to, who I'm working with.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you the structure to follow on how to get through the day. I mean, entrepreneurs, let's face it, like we think that we can do everything in one day, right? Like we can do it all. We can start this, we can start that, like, but we really need structure. And once we finally submit to that structure and that part of entrepreneurship, some amazing things start to happen because you start to actually get some focus and some clarity on what's working. And once you get that, then it's like, get high on that, like get high on that activity, like that's I don't know, just what I find with a lot of entrepreneurs. I mean, we all got like crazy addictive personalities, right? Like at least most of the ones that I come across. So, if I can find an activity that's working, if I can find something in my business that is my unique ability that I can control, that now I know that works, man, I can do that over and over and over again. Like I don't even think about it. And for me right now, it's starting to be like being on podcasts like this or going to a mastermind like I'm doing tomorrow with Carl Scaramuza, like being authentic and vulnerable in front of people and just laying it out there about what is really happening. Man, like I can do that all day long. Right. And then when you're having a meeting with somebody, they've seen that stuff, they've witnessed it, they understand, okay, when I sit down with JD, I'm going to get the real picture here, right? Like it might not be a picture I want to hear all the time, but I'm going to get a real picture.
Well, and that's especially, and I'm noticing so many similarities between all business owners and the different concepts and the services that we all provide is, man, it's coming down more and more and more to authenticity. And it doesn't bother me at all or make me feel less than anyone because of where I'm at as a business person, because as an entertainer, I've accomplished things that people dream about when they're a kid and never accomplish. Right. And for the longest time, that was my goal. That was all I thought about. And that was what I chased. And that was what I invested every single second of my time in. And I accomplished all of that, the California music dream and the main stage at 10X. And now it's time to take that experience and shift it into, I have that experience. Now I'm going to provide this service for your business.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to take me getting more real and getting more authentic and telling people, here's a picture of me. I was sleeping in my van, broke, playing for $40 because that's what it took to get to the next slide in front of 10,000 people. And I was eating hard-boiled eggs in the hotel, worried about the sales tax on the room in Vegas because it's hard. It looks one way, but when you're off stage preparing to go accomplish that, you're still in grind mode.
Right. Yeah. And being able to say, look, I can get you this kind of attention too.
Right.
I can show you how to get this kind of attention. I mean, one thing that I'm working on is like building my YouTube channel right now, really trying to get more traffic going that direction. Also just, some of the stuff that I put out on social media is just not consistent. Like I'm trying to make it more consistent and all that kind of stuff. And that's one thing you're helping me with, like even with this show, is figuring out like, okay, I know Pat knows how to get some attention. How do I get some attention? How do I some consistent attention and it be real and authentic and not I've got an offer for you today, like that kind of, just this is who we are, this is what we talk about, this is how we think about the world, this is how we think about entrepreneurship and how we might be able to help somebody.
Right. And I think also is that this is also just what we sat down and talked about at the little cafe in Chattanooga eating eggs is that, dude, I mean, there's a lot of hard shit that we deal with every day. We get punched in the gut, we get punched in the mouth. That guy, that could have been a close for you, and he backs out a couple hours later after you already provided the service.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times that's happened to me. And I'm sure
Right.
you agree. I don't care if you're an accountant or if you're a lawyer or if you're making millions of dollars. If you're making millions of dollars, now you have the same problems as me. They're just $1 million problems.
Right. Yeah.
There's so many similarities. You don't need to feel less than than anyone else if you're at a certain number, or better than anyone else if you're at a certain number. Dude, some of the guys I know that are making the big, huge boohoo bucks, they got just as big of problems as anybody else, if not bigger.
Right.
Now you're a target.
Yeah, exactly.
Now on top of it, you're a target, and everybody wants a piece of that. So, dude, that's awesome. So where's the mastermind tomorrow?
It's the FU Money Mastermind in Miami with Carl Scaramuza and David Vincent and Cody Kearns.
I saw you post that. So you're speaking at that?
Yes. Yeah. So I'll be going down there tomorrow and speaking on Thursday.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the time. I appreciate the love and support. It's Pat Hilton and JD Frost. We're doing a couple episodes every month, giving you guys the real raw stuff that you really need to take away from what it takes to be an entrepreneur, what it takes to run a business. Like Jonathan said, he's got a 35-person operation in Chattanooga, just partnered with a guy who's got, how many offices does he have? 2?
4 offices. Another 30 people.
Another 30 people. So I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a one-man operation and you're going around cutting lawns, or if you're CEO of a business. It's like we're all in this together. We all want to succeed. And so follow us online, get in touch with us, hit up the YouTube channel for sure. This is all published on Jonathan's channel, and man, it's just it's a pleasure to be a part of it. And thank you for supporting me, growing into a better version of myself, and taking care of my family and stuff, dude. This is huge for me. So I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it too, Pat. Thanks.
So kick some ass tomorrow, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.